Yesterday was supposed to be a normal, regular, uneventful day at work. It was boring because it was kind of slow, but during the weekend, I was there on Saturday and it was a freaking zoo. So that let me know that slowly but surely we're transitioning into our busier season. Kids going back to school, eventually the holidays, like we start off with Labor Day isn't really a big deal like that, nor is Halloween, but the actual day of Halloween can be like the next big thing that we can look forward to business wise. It's about an hour, hour and a half before my shift is over. I have this old lady who's a regular. She's been probably shopping there for longer than I've even been working there. So it's the kind of customer who's going to have their expectations and stuff. Nothing wrong with that because I too am a consumer and I know that I too have the potential of being underserved and I'll feel some type of way. But at least I don't actually go after people themselves. I go after the service that was provided. I won't actually attack the person. I will more point out what's going on that was unfulfilled. Out of fucking nowhere, I have this old lady. I can't call her a lady. Let me stop saying lady. Old woman by herself come over to me and she starts off her conversation not with a greeting, not with a hey, I was wondering if you could help me, something, just anything at all that is a show of courtesy. She just starts her conversation with, I'm coming over here to you because I know that you've been here for a long time and you know how to do what I want, something like that. And I said, okay, what's going on? She still doesn't tell me what's going on. She just goes, that girl over there at customer service, she know nothing. She's new. Somebody needs to show her how to do her job. And I'm like, all right, what's happening? How may I help you? And then she's like, well, I'm trying to get cash back. I already paid for my stuff over there at self checkout. Well, I need cash back. I went over there to the self service, but I forgot that you all don't do cash, but I do this all the time anyway. I go over there, I get my stuff over there, and then I go to the desk, and at the desk, I get my cash back. And I'm like, did you pay for your stuff already over there at self checkout? And she says yes. She goes back to saying, and I don't understand why when I go up to that girl over there, she says that I have to buy something. I've never been told that before in my life. I do this all the time, many, many, many times. And I'm like, so you're trying to get cash back after you have purchased your order? And then she goes, yes, and I know that you're gonna be able to help me because I know that you've been here a long time and you would know how to do it. But I can't believe that girl over there is telling me that I have to buy something else because I didn't request cash back for my first transaction over there. And the reason I didn't do it is because y'all don't take cash on those machines. And then I said, all right, so just to confirm, she is saying that you need to buy something else because you need to start a new transaction, and from that new transaction, you'll be able to request the cashback. And she's like, yes, and that's ridiculous because that's not how I need to do it. She just said, I need to buy something new because otherwise, there's no way to do it. And I'm like, right. And then she goes, ah, what do you mean, right? I'm disappointed coming from you because I know that you've been here a long time and I know that you know what I'm talking about because I've been over there when you have been over there at the desk and I've seen you do it. What do you mean, right? Why is it that nobody today in this department can help me with what I want? All I want is cash back. And I said, this is the situation. The only way what you're describing is plausible is that before you pay, we suspend your transaction, we hand you a ticket, you take that ticket to customer service, and at customer service, we scan that ticket before you pay. You haven't paid by the time that you hand us the ticket up there at customer service. We scan it, we press the button that activates payment mode, and from there you run your card, you request your cash back, and you get your cash back. But after you have paid, that transaction is closed. Therefore, you need to start a new one. An example of a new transaction would be, we refund you on this closed out transaction, or we start a new transaction. But after this receipt prints, there's no going back to it unless we gotta refund you for something because you gotta return. And anyway, she was just not listening to me at all. She kept saying, I can't believe that you all are making getting cash back difficult. Like, I know that the other new people need to learn, but I can't believe that you need to learn as well. It's like you forgot how to do your job. You've been here for a long time. You've been here for many years. I've seen you. And I'm like, in my mind, it is precisely the voice of experience that's schooling you right now, but you just don't get it. She kept arguing and saying that she does that many, many times. And I'm like, I guarantee you, never in your life, nor anybody else's, after you have paid for something, have you been able to go somewhere else and say, I need cash back. You only have 2.5 options. Option 1, I refund you for your entire order and re-ring it if you want to have everything in just one goddamn ticket, and then you get your stupid cash back and get off my face. Second option would be, I refund you for just one little ass item, charge you for it again so you can buy it again, and that becomes your new transaction, and that way you don't have to buy anything else. Your other half option, and I call it a half option because I know you're not willing to, that's the whole reason this conversation is happening in the first place, is you grab a new item and you buy it, request your stupid cash back at customer service or any other human run cash enabled register. You do it and then you leave. But anyway, she walks away from me, still arguing to herself, and she goes back to self-checkout. And my girl over there at self-checkout dealt with her. I mean, I was looking at her from a distance and I know exactly which self-checkout machine she used. And I know that we were simply explaining to her, yeah, sorry, this doesn't take cash back, but at customer service, they can help you. I'm sure that she noticed that this old woman had paid. Therefore, she had no other choice but to refer her to customer service, because at customer service is when we can do anything regarding editing a transaction in any capacity. Returns, refunds, all of that. But anyway, this old lady just, it wasn't computing in her head. And I said, I'm going to give her 7 seconds to get the fuck off my girl at SCO's face. So anyway, I gave up after 5 seconds. I said, no. So I walk over there to self-checkout and I stand unnaturally and abnormally close. And, you know, I'm standing like right there next to her and I see that look of relief on my girl's face. And I'm like, so did we decide on anything? What did we decide on? Are we getting cash back or are we not getting cash back with the options mentioned? And she was like, I just can't believe that you don't know what I'm asking for and you don't know how to do it. I get cash back here all the time. I go to customer service and you have done it for me many times. And I'm like, either we're getting something new or we are refunding you for one item, or we're done here. Have a nice day. When she completely came back to her senses that I was standing there, she was like, see, you came back. And I'm like, yeah, I came back because, like I just said, what did we decide on? Because this discussion should not be happening. It should be over right now. And I'm guessing she came to me expecting that I would agree with her when there's no way to agree with her when she's completely wrong. But it just pissed me off that she started pointing at me. She started going, you need to know how to do your job if you've been here that long. And these new people, I can understand it coming from these new people who don't know nothing. But coming from you, and I'm like, This will come from me. This will come from my manager. This will come from past people who have worked here, who aren't working here anymore. This will come from other customers who do this regularly too. Don't pay for your order and then expect to go to another register and just treat it like it's an ATM machine, run your card without charging anything to it, and just get cash back. We don't work like that because we're not a financial institution. In fact, I wish we could ban the cashback option at registers. I've used it maybe 3 times before in my life, and it was when I needed to go to a coin laundry. And this was way back in the day before I came up with my own plan on how to gather my own coins, which most laundries have their own coin dispensers. And after I learned that, I never again requested cashback in my life. So I haven't requested cashback since 2014, maybe 2015. That's about it. So like, it doesn't affect me in the slightest if we get rid of the cashback function. You just don't want to go to the bank. And that's why we facilitate a small amount. Another thing some of you clowns be trying to do is you'll buy one thing and then be like, can I request cashback again? And next thing I know, you're requesting $300 off my drawer. And then you get mad when I have to call my manager over and be like, it's going to take a second on your cashback. I have to get my register taken care of, because you wiped me out of my money. That's how inconsiderate you are. But yeah, this lady insisted and insisted and insisted that she was right, and all of us told her, no, after you paid, that transaction is over. There's nothing we can do. Either get something new or let us refund you on one item and you can buy it again. And after buying it again, you can request your cash back. So technically we're not overcharging you. But yeah, you guys, it just irritated me. And at that point, I told myself, some old people, especially the old woman who shops by herself, I think we need to start enacting laws in which you need to have a license to be out in public, especially by yourself, if you have a history of misbehaving. Because I'm telling you guys, every shitty customer service experience that I have that escalates into the worst thing ever, it's always an old woman by herself who has been shopping there for a long time. And I'm like, well, okay, go ahead, show me how to run this register, train me on how to run this register, since you know so much more than me. I have put into that place approximately 14,000 hours. Okay, hours. I have wasted months, years worth of my life specializing at that job. But you, who has never held the position at all, are trying to say that you know better than me how these things work and that I'm not understanding what your needs are. And see, you guys, this is the kind of shit that makes me be like, America has a terrible arrogance issue that needs to be addressed. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what reproductive organs you possess. This is a big issue. And this is why I completely sympathize and empathize with the people who say, I cannot teach anymore. I cannot be a policeman anymore. I cannot be a manager anymore. I don't want to work. I don't want to deal with people. I get it. Because at some point, people just don't know how to accept that they are misremembering something. I was at a self-checkout at a grocery store the other day, and it was giving me issues because I bought like a little tiny, not even a handful of grapes. It was maybe like 6 little pieces of grapes, and the scale was giving me problems. And because I know how to work with them, I pushed the reset button and I tried weighing it again. It still wasn't working. And at that point, I turned to the attendant and I say, hey, I think I'm having trouble weighing my item. I tried resetting the scale. Nothing happened. And then she came over, she punched in some code of hers, and then asked me to do it again. And then boom, my item worked. But at that point, I said to myself, oh shit, my own arrogance came out, because since I work with this, I'm like, I'm noticing the scale is tripping. Let me try recalibrating it. Even though I don't work here, it's just my instinct. I'm customer servicing myself. So my own arrogance came out. And at that point, I had to be like, oh shit, let me remember my place here. And then that's when I said to the attendant, oh, I think my scale might need to be like recalibrated somehow to get this item to work. But technically, I was wrong. I shouldn't have touched that equipment in any other way except the way it's intended to be used by a regular customer. So even I need to have my own arrogance in check. This is the kind of shit that makes me be like, some people just really cannot afford to be by themselves, unchecked and without managers. Everybody wants to be independent. Everybody wants to be out there and handle everything on their own. You can't say anything to anybody. You can't say anything that contradicts the belief of somebody. Like, where are we headed? What is the goal here? Where's this coming from? And why are we making ourselves responsible for that? Why is it expected of us to be prepared to deal with that type of thing? I shouldn't have to deal with this old woman at all. Those are issues that come from somewhere else. She's evidently missing something. Something isn't right up here. And you can see it from the way she speaks, the way she moves, the way she expresses her thoughts, the way that no matter who is explaining what to her, she doesn't get it. And she's attacking the people. She attacked me, my veteran status, which I take great pride in because I have worked fucking hard for. She attacked members of my squad. And after she was done initially dealing with the self-checkout attendant at that time, after messing with me, she went back over there to mess with her to keep arguing about the same shit. You went to customer service, they told you one thing. You went to another person, they told you another thing. You came to me, I told you the same thing. You went back to self-checkout, who had already told you the same thing. You went back to bully her again. At that point, I was pissed. And that's why I took myself back to self-checkout and I said, what's going on here? What did you decide on? Are you getting the cash back? If not, have a nice day. You got your receipt. Your transaction is over. You don't have the intention of getting the cash back anymore, because if you needed it really bad and it was important for you, you would have obeyed our instructions, getting that extra item, or taking me on my suggestion to refund you for one item so you can buy it again, and then it would prompt you for your cash back. But at that point, it's not about your cash back. It's about your fucking pride, about how you think that you know better than us. We literally spend hours there training, getting coached, messing with the register, encountering problems, running into situations, resolving them, being on the phone with a tech, all of that stuff. And you're trying to tell me that your little ass who only buys a bag's worth of groceries and you're only there maybe once or twice a week compared to how many hours I put into that place, no better than me. Sure. And this is why I'm losing respect, especially for the women. Because when it comes to arguments, usually the women attack you for your person. They don't criticize your particular performance about something. Like if you order a burger and it's undercooked, you could be like, oh, hey, I'm sorry. I meant for it to be well done, but it appears to be medium. It might need to be cooked a little longer. Something like that. That's different. You're criticizing the specification of my skill that's supposed to be fulfilling your request. I can live with that. But when you attack me as a person, that's when I have issues. And the person at self-checkout, I know how she is. She can be a little sensitive and a little bit easy to shake up, and then she may not recover from that. And I'm like, I'm not going to lose a member of my squad because you're offending her when she doesn't deserve it. None of us deserve it. You're crazy. So that's why I went over there, and with my presence, I let you know that's not tolerated. Then she was like, oh, you came back. And I'm like, In my mind, I was like, I came back because I know what you're doing. You're bullying my squad member here. And on top of that, she's my friend. I cannot just stand there, watch you bullying somebody who doesn't deserve it. You already tried it with me. At that point, you should be like, you know what, damn, maybe I am wrong. You know what? Not maybe, I am fucking wrong. Let me just comply and not be difficult. Because when I'm difficult, now I left, I didn't get my cash back, and now everybody knows here that I'm a fucking asshole. Congrats. Now that is the story that everybody's going to share. As soon as we see you walking in, we're gonna point to you and say, that lady gave me shit yesterday and this was why. Congrats, that's the reputation that you have earned now. Now what? We all need to be careful about how our attitudes come out in public, especially when we're dealing with workers. I still need to share with you guys my own story of when I got mad at T-Mobile, and let's do a comparison about me as an upset customer and the situation I was experiencing versus this one. Maybe I'm part of this stupid old woman squad. I think that my story is slightly different because it's about me paying a bill but not getting the service that I expect. And I wasn't attacking the people, but I was saying I'm just sick of my service not being available to me when I need it. So whom can I talk to rectify the situation? And I ended up telling the person, look, yes, I am upset. I may be slipping my cuss word here and there, but please do not take it personal. I'm criticizing the service. I'm not criticizing you as a customer service person. So there is a difference. The few times I have gotten genuinely upset, I have never ever come after the person. I've never told them, you need to learn how to do this better, or I need to talk to somebody else. I'll be like, hey, maybe I'm not expressing my needs well. Do you think we should get somebody else? And sometimes they go like, oh yeah, let's get somebody else. And I'm like, don't feel like I don't want to talk to you anymore or something like that. If you want to stay and maybe I can learn how to ask my question in the future and you would have understood it, or maybe this is new to you too and you can learn something, I invite that person to stay. I don't need them to go away. I don't need to be offensive like that. But yeah, you guys, that shit left me pissed off because I was already pre-stressed thinking about the kind of week I have ahead, the bills that I have to pay, just pending shit. And then the fact that I physically did not want to be there because I was dealing with some pain too. And like mentally, I could feel the cloud. This lady toward the end of my fucking shift doing that. And on top of that, her being loud and messing with my people and all that. It's like, lady, you got your information. Now make your decision. Are you getting the cash back or are you not getting the cash back? If you're not getting the cash back, get the fuck out of here. Damn! That's what I hate, when you just keep going and going and going and you were done at self-checkout, but you went back to keep messing with my girl. No! Mess with me. You already messed with me. So if we all dismissed you, why don't you get the hint? So anyways, you guys, I thought I would share that with you and also let it out because I feel like since yesterday, I'm still carrying that stress with me. And I think that I need this to decompress. Because I hate that when my adrenal gland is like overstimulated. It takes me a while to like chill out from it. And that's why I need to address my things as quickly as possible. But someone like that doesn't help the cause. And then I feel bad because my manager texted me before I started filming. He texted me asking me if I could come in to support with a housekeeping shift. And I said, brother, I hate saying no to you, but I gotta be real with myself. I haven't recovered from yesterday. He wasn't there yesterday. But I will have a long weekend ahead and I need to take care of myself because I wanted to quit so bad yesterday. But I wanted to quit, not necessarily that job. It was more about the disrespect that I can anticipate getting. And remember, this had nothing to do with me. This woman came over to my register to mess with me based on my vet status, which isn't even fair because I have been there for a long time. That tells me, obviously, something I've always known, that I'm held to a different standard. But I don't have any control over how the machines operate. Now she threw me into the mix when I had nothing to do at all with her day. She didn't get what she wanted at customer service because she couldn't fulfill it. My girl over there couldn't fulfill it. She came over to me. I couldn't fulfill it. And then she went back to self checkout. Clearly, we cannot fulfill it over there. You know, that continuous poking of the tiger, that's when I explode. And when you trigger that on me, I have a hard time relaxing from that. I just needed to ease my adrenal gland. But on the plus side, you know what? Just for the sake of having the whole story on the record, I'm gonna read the decompression text that I sent one of my friends and see how it compares to what I just described. So I said, today I stood up for my squad from a Karen who also tried coming after me, felt great. But yeah, some old people need to have licenses to be out in public alone. They should enact a law. Everything was fine until she attacked my vet status, I'm telling you. But yeah, today was rough. I took a risk. We live in a culture of the customer is never wrong, no matter how wrong they are. All I did was keep telling her what the process is, and I asked for her receipt to confirm a detail, which is whether she paid at self-checkout or not, which she admitted, and I personally saw it. All she had to do was say, oh shit, sorry, I'm wrong. But yeah, she started bullying every other cashier in the department, hoping to find someone who would tell her she's right or agree. But she's wrong. And when I confirmed the info from the squad, she tried bullying me, as in I should know better because I've been there a long time. I'm like, the same info they feed you is the same info I'm gonna feed you because it's the truth. It doesn't matter if they're new and I'm a vet. Facts are facts. The information I'm supplying right now is not gonna change in 5 minutes, and it hasn't changed in how long has cashback features being available at registers? Maybe 20 years, 20 plus years. Basically, self-checkout doesn't take cash. She wanted cash back. Can't do that. She needed to suspend the transaction, save it for later, pretty much is what that means, and pay at a human register, but she didn't. She paid for her transaction at self-checkout. So after paying, she went to customer service for cash back, but my girl over there told her she has to buy something else. And she's right. So the woman got upset. After that, she came to me to tell me the story of how the girl at customer service don't know nothing, so I'm coming here since I know you've been here a long time. So to me, she said, so I pay at self-checkout and go to customer service all the time for cashback since y'all don't do cash anymore at self-serve, but I'm being told I gotta buy something and then get cashback, to which, while noticing her receipt, I said, right. She goes, no, what do you mean? I know you know how to do that. I asked, so did you pay for your order at self-checkout? She said, yes. I said, right. So because that transaction is closed, we need to start a new one. She goes, why do y'all keep telling me that? I do this all the time. I said, the only way the scenario you're describing is plausible is if one of us suspends your transaction before you pay and you come pay at a cashier run register and request cash back. So considering your current situation, you got two options that will get you your cash back. I can refund you your order, rescan it so you can request cash back from this cash enabled register, or I refund you for only one item and you buy it again, and that saves us from re-ringing everything. Alternatively, buy something else. After that, she walked away saying, nah, no, 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 no. And she went back to self-checkout to fuck with one of the new girls. She's not even that new. She's been there at least 6 months that I can think of. And I know she's susceptible to stress, and I made sure she wouldn't bother her for more than 10 seconds. I walked over there for presents. And then I say, is there a remaining issue? The old woman said, see, you came back. I asked, so what have we decided on? And she kept arguing, repeating what I already said to you guys that she said. I said, you paid at this register, and I pointed to the machine she used. I said, this order is over. Let it go. Do you wish to start a new one? be refunded or try next time. Otherwise, thank you. Have a nice day. I like that I'm reading what I said to someone immediately after the events happened, because now it's like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to see the movie in my brain again as it happened yesterday. And the words are better recorded because I was telling you guys the gist of it, but yeah. And then again, she said, I can't believe you that's been here so long are telling me that. It's like you don't know your job anymore. I said, the information I provided has not changed since we last spoke, nor has it ever been different for the whole time cashback has been enabled at this place. If you no longer wish to carry out a cashback option, thank you. Have a nice day. And at that point, one of our supervisors came around, pretty much backing me up and telling her he had already told her, like he was at the end of my register before she bounced to me and then bounced back to him and then she left. He had already told her as well. So at this point, 3 people plus myself, 4 people have already informed her of how this works. But in her brain, it just wasn't registering. And then when I went to self-checkout to just accompany my girl, and then my supervisor came over, she had no option but to leave, I guess. She must have felt intimidated by our presence. It was 3 of us over there. But yeah, at that point, he backed us up and she finally had to fuck off. Yeah, I had to go back to my register since I left it open, but eventually I caught up to my girl. Ooh, this was another awesome part, because this was the whole point and goal that I had when I decided to go over there to self-checkout, even though I have no business in that area. I went back to her to talk to her, my girl, at some point, and I told her, I hope that incident did not cause you too much distress. And she was like, oh my God, she started off the conversation with, I need to learn how to do the job since I'm new. And on top of that, this my girl running self-checkout, she's usually not performing that job. She's usually performing another job in the department. I said, yeah, she came after me too, attacking my experience, and she doesn't realize the voice of experience was doing the talking. At that moment, yesterday in the department, if I add my girl at school, my girl at customer service, and my supervisor, that alone, I have more experience at this place, at this job, than they do collectively. But also, we had another vet who was on a register, but I don't know if my vet talked to this lady. She happened to be on the register, 2 registers behind me. But I need to ask her if she dealt with this lady at all. She might have. My girl back there, she has 2 years less experience than I have, but we're pretty much at a similar level. This is the part that I was gonna say about me visiting my girl at SCO, is that it made me feel really good because that was my goal. She immediately thanked me for coming over and not leaving her alone. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna come over because I know exactly what it's like to be in that situation. When I was new, I got roasted a couple times by upset customers who simply did not want to accept that the info I was feeding them was right, despite me being new. And just because I didn't know exactly how to show them the matter quite as clearly, nor did I have like a more confident tone back in the day, it doesn't mean that my information was any less true. Again, that happened to me way back in the day. The challenging customers for me were always the old people. So I guess old people must still value positions and status and veteran status and all that. And I'm like, you people are falling behind. And I guess that inferiority complex shows when you try to go after the young people. That's gotta be it. Like, I get it, we have limitations when we're new, but at some point you have to distinguish between you being prideful and you just being completely wrong. Your old person status is not going to be valid everywhere. Let's say that I'm having a conversation with a pilot who's been a first officer for 2 years. Oh, I have more work experience than you do. I'm older than you. And all of a sudden, I'm supposed to be superior to this man who has put in the hours and training. and then I'm gonna try to school him on how to do a smooth landing. Ain't no way that's gonna happen. So old people need to understand that about themselves too. You may have been at the prime of your career, wherever the fuck you had that career at. But here, in this place, I'm the one who has put in the 14,000 hours into what I'm doing. Now, whatever you were doing back in your day, sure, that's your territory. You win over there, you conquer over there, you reign over there. Good for you. But here, it's different. So, like, no amount of you being 70 years old is going to intimidate me into submission. But yeah, it meant a lot to me that she thanked me because that was my intention. I'm like, I don't want to leave you alone. I know what it's like to be by yourself when this clown is coming after you and you feel defenseless and hopeless and offended and terrified. And I told her, you don't have to be alone. Get a supervisor, get me. If I have to leave my register in the middle of a transaction to be there with you or for you and swap places, I will do it. Why? Because I was there. Someone served me when I was at my most vulnerable and needed it the most. So now, after all these years, it's my turn to serve. Now I gotta be the one to stand up for the younger colleagues or the less experienced colleagues. And it doesn't matter how old my colleague is. I've done this for my older colleagues too. I've been there for them. In front of my face, if you're going off on one of my coworkers or friends and you're bullying them, you better believe I'm getting involved, especially if I was already involved. Now, had you not involved me entirely, I might have been kind of like looking in the distance and see how I could come after you. But when she went back to self checkout to argue with my girl, she was still pointing at me and pointing at customer service. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming to you since evidently you can't stand in front of me and you have to retreat and go back to someone who's more vulnerable. I told her, if you have to physically walk away from there, because the problem with self checkout is that there isn't a barrier. And I was seeing this lady coming close to her face, and I could see my girl taking a step back because clearly you're invading our space. And that's one of the things that I hate about self checkout. It's like, no. So at that point, I let go of my own boundaries that make me feel comfortable. And, I'm like, all right, so what did you decide on? Because that shit should be over. You're making a scene, disrupting all of us, upsetting our moods. Leave. Yeah, I remember a time when I was being bullied by those fucking clowns because I'm young and inexperienced. And I always thought, one day, it's not even gonna take me that long. Within about 2, 3 years, I was already at the level that I'm at today. I'm like, one day, I'm going to be the very best around here. And you clowns are gonna have nothing to get me for. On my work performance, it's really hard to criticize it because I'm actually focused. But yeah, it meant a lot to me that I could see that look of relief in my girl's face and that she thanked me for it. And I said, all right, I made a good call. But I really, really hate bullies, especially when you're messing with someone innocent. Yeah, I don't care if management for some reason follows up on this story because there have been instances in which this can be considered an escalation. And I said I wasn't escalating anything. All I kept doing was communicating to the lady how things work, and that's it. I didn't argue back with her. I didn't call her names, even though she was insulting and disrespecting me. But, I just said, all right, these are your options. Are you getting the cash back or are you not getting the cash back? You're not. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you. Have a good day. That's all I said. So if she felt offended by that, what about me? What about the way that I was disrespected and offended? You guys know, and I say this a lot, I don't like whataboutisms, but in some instances, it's necessary. If someone from management comes over, I'll be like, okay, you all say that we don't tolerate disrespect from anybody, not even customers. Where were you at when this was happening? Yeah, come at me. Like, I don't care. I really don't care. I just want for the disrespect to be over. And since I was involved, I'm one of your vets, I'm one of your better workers. I would think it's in your best interest to stick up for me and stand up for me, especially since we're having trouble retaining people. So what's it gonna be?